Scentland, the land of scent. Hola, bienvenidos, mujeres y hombres. And I should probably stop stereotyping right there, but it has a purpose, I promise. And the reason is that the name behind, the creator, the brand behind this fragrance is very much considered to be a very much stereotyped, typical Spanish Latin lover, actor and personality, especially in his younger years, okay? I'm talking about Antonio Banderas. Antonio Banderas, and we know that genre, this stereotyping with Enrique Iglesias and Ricky Martin, and so in case of Antonio Banderas, his looks, his appearance, and his very much European Spanish heritage obviously played a role in that stereotyping, but he managed to break through this and become an internationally famous and successful Hollywood actor, okay? Not necessarily my favorite actor, okay? I like people like Joe Pesci or Harvey Keitel or Christoph Waltz better than Antonio Banderas. I like Alain Delon better as Zorro than Antonio Banderas, but still I think Antonio Banderas is a great actor and a very good guy, I think, as well. So, and he has launched his fragrance line back in the 90s, I think 1997 saw the first release called Diavolo, the devil, you know. I've seen that, I acknowledged it, but I never bought any Antonio Banderas fragrance, and it has a reason. First of all, his appeal wasn't really interesting for me, okay, and I sort of was always on the fence between, you know, is it good quality, is it not so good quality, is it not because I'm overly posh or fancy about my fragrances, you know, I've got all sorts of fragrances in my collection, but somehow it was a bit tacky, and it became a bit, you know, this king of seduction type of scenario, and I don't like that approach, okay? But he has, on the other hand, he has some extremely nice fragrances out there, like Antonio from 2007, I think. This honey fragrance, one of the best honey fragrances I've ever smelled, discontinued unfortunately. And this one came out in 2005. It's called Spirit, Antonio Banderas Spirit, okay? And the parfumeurs behind were Rosando Mathieu and Pierre Vargne, okay? So two very much skillful and very professional parfumeurs behind this fragrance, which shows you a great quality approach from Antonio Banderas into this particular fragrance. And it won 2 awards as well at the 2005 Fifi Awards for Best Packaging, I think, and Best Male Mass Appeal Fragrances, I think. So it was, in regards to the critics, it was very successful as well, okay? So what are we looking at here? Spirit, again, have the image of Antonio Banderas, Spanish lover, you know, a Latin guy, that sort of appeal, okay? You almost hear Carlos Santana playing in the background, that type of thing. I'm over-exaggerating, obviously, and I'm sorry for doing that, but it has a reason, okay? Because people who go for Antonio Banderas fragrances, I think, expect, that's the word, I'm getting old, expect something along those lines, especially if it's called Spirit, and especially if it has color like this, you know, very much like my blazer, my jacket today, okay? You gotta match these things. So that's this ruby red, very much warm and yet dark and mysterious coloration, okay? So how's it smell? There's good sides to this fragrance and there's not so good sides to this fragrance. First of all, the packaging I like, okay? The sprayer, I won't spray it, and it has a reason. It's good, it's nice, it's high quality, it's good quality sprayer. Okay, the overall appearance, obviously this is why I won an award for packaging, is nice. And let's come to the notes. Okay, so what do we have here? We have cinnamon together with amber. That immediately creates a starting vibe, and that is being helped by some citrus aspects, neroli and bergamot, and paired up brilliantly with patchouli and incense. So the whole combination, the entire blend is along these lines, is warm, it's enveloping, it's embracing you rather than pushing. So it's not sitting you, it becomes part of your aura, which is nice. And it has some personality to it, due especially to the very brave fact that they paired up incense and patchouli here, which can be tough components and notes in a fragrance, especially if walking along together. And those being paired up with the incense, with the cinnamon and the amber, together with some citrus notes that I mentioned, this creates a nice and fairly unique blend. It is unique. It's not a fragrance that you smell on any corner of the city. Okay, it's not something that resembles any particular fragrance, at least to my knowledge and my experience. But okay, here comes the but. But it's too sweet. Okay, it's too sweet. The cinnamon, for my taste, again, my taste, for anybody who likes sweet fragrances, perfect. It's too sweet for me. It's just too sweet. It's the cinnamon is too much. Okay, should be probably more amber than cinnamon. It's the other way around. It's way more cinnamon than amber. It's very, very sweet, and you can feel that the bergamot and the neroli try to dial it to give it some freshness, to keep it from being too sticky. Okay, you know, it's sticky sweetness. They try to save this from being too sticky, together with the incense and patchouli, which give it a nice depth and smokiness as well. So that's where this fragrance is interesting to me. That appears more in the dry down, luckily. But at the beginning, well, it's not exactly 100% true, because the patchouli is actually there in the beginning. So straight away you can smell it. The incense is coming more out. The smokiness is coming more out toward the dry down. It appears more and more. Okay, and the sweetness gets less. It's getting dialed back. Okay, so that's how it works. But it's too sweet. It's still a bit too sticky to me. You have this sticky sweetness. You remember those apples in the winter time that they used to cover with this sugar coat, you know, and then you were trying to get to the apple, but you know, your entire mouth was, or probably you get the fillings out of your tooth, you know, because the sugar coat was just so extreme. This is how I feel with this fragrance, which is a shame because I really like the incense and patchouli with the amber, and indeed some citruses being a part of this. So the other not so great factor is that somehow this fragrance is kind of tiptoeing between being a good performer and a bad performer. And it's so because the psyllium projection are basically very vague, yet the longevity is very good. It's really much there for a long time. But by the time you get to that, this sticky character is too much for your nose and you won't smell it anymore. Maybe the people around you will be able, but on yourself you will not be able to smell this anymore after the initial burst. You will think it's gone. It's not gone. It's there. It has a great longevity. It's almost like an eau de parfum. But due to the fact that the cinnamon and the amber and the patchouli attack your senses, your nostrils early on, not aggressively. As I say, it's not a projection and sillage monster, but the stickiness of it is intense. So it will wear out your senses, your nostrils, and you will not be able to smell the rest of the development, which is much nicer than the sticky beginning. Okay, so that's why I think I think it's still around, but it's not overly popular. It's not as much around as the Blue Seduction, the King of Seduction, and Golden whatever. I don't know all these tacky names of several of Antonio Banderas' fragrances. This is quality-wise a much better fragrance, but the sweet stickiness is just not only not up to my taste, nobody cares. You can love sweet fragrances anyway, and this could be totally your cup of tea. But as I say, it impacts the performance, not in a way, not the true performance, because as I say, it lasts long, but you won't be able to smell it anymore because the stickiness, the sweetness kills your nostrils, and you will walk away from this fragrance saying, okay, it smells nice, I like sweet, it smells nice, but it's gone after 15 minutes, and it's not. It's not, especially if you spray it on the hair and clothing, it's well beyond 12 hours. Really, another parfum fragrance here. So it's kind of a shame. It could be a bit more dialed back, and for in order at least not to serve my taste, okay, but to enable the fragrance to be appreciated more by people who like these type of fragrances, sweet fragrances. If you dial back a bit the sweetness and let the dry down the development of the fragrance, therefore be able to get to your nostrils, that would be a perfect scenario. So, but it's definitely a fragrance that stands on its own Spanish feet. Okay, it's very much charming. It's very warm. It's very inviting. It's seductive. Even I know that Antonio Banderas fragrance brand loves this word. Okay, it's seductive. It is seductive, no doubt about it, because your vicinity will definitely smell this. They won't get this olfactory fatigue because they're not wearing this. But you yourself, you will be tired of your nose will be tired. You won't be able to smell it anymore. But again, it's a long-lasting fragrance. Okay, so that's it. Thanks very much from me, and see you soon for another review. Take care. Adios. Adios, muchachos and muchachas.